Hello and welcome back to a homecoming edition of Pregame. Alongside Miss Lauren Moss, I'm Josh Bolander.
And homecoming usually means good things for the black and gold. Josh, the program as a whole is 55, 41, and 5 on the university's big day, and head coach Kirk Ferentz has dominated the homecoming contest, sporting an 11-3 record since taking over for Hayden Fry in 1999.
Lauren, the Hawks have actually been even better against Michigan State in homecoming games, too. In 7 previous matchups, the black and gold are 6-0-1.
Let's not sleep on Sparty, though. The matchup between the green and whites, Mark D'Antonio and Kirk Ferentz, may seem to lead toward the 15-year vet. But despite D'Antonio's 2-4 record against Ferentz Hawks, the matchup has been closer than you may think.
Daily Iowan TV Sports' Jordan Cabialis has the preview.
The Hawkeyes enter Saturday's game sporting the 7th best defense in the country, led by 6 seniors who have all stepped it up this season. Outside linebacker Anthony Hitchens leads the defense with 47 tackles on the year. Dominic Alvis has 2 of the 6 sacks, while James Morris, Christian Kirksey, and B.J. Lowry have accounted for 7 of the 11 turnovers forced. The Hawkeye defense has intercepted the opposing team 8 times so far this year and has recovered 3 fumbles, scoring 3 touchdowns in the process. While the Hawkeye defense is good, they welcome in the Michigan State Spartans, whose defense is the best in the nation. The Spartan defense has forced 8 turnovers thus far and is holding opponents to just 59.5 yards on the ground and 130.5 yards in the air. With all of the defense in this game, first-year starter Jake Rudock and the offense are going to have to find ways to score. However, the Spartan defense has yet to face a running back like Iowa's workhorse Mark Weisman. The 6-foot, 236-pound junior is currently the nation's 4th leading rusher with 615 yards through the first 5 games with 3 touchdowns. Damon Bullock has gotten his fair share of carries for 263 yards, and Jake Rudock himself has been effective on his feet, rushing for 146 yards and 5 touchdowns. Through 5 weeks, the receiving corps has also come into its own with a plethora of targets for Rudock to throw to. Gavante Martin-Manley, Jacob Hillier, and Damon Powell have all emerged as viable weapons, combining for 511 yards and 5 touchdowns. The Hawkeyes lead the all-time series against the Spartans 23, 19, and 2, and have won 5 of the last 7. Saturday looks to be a classic Big Ten battle, and if recent history between the two is any indication, an exciting game to watch. Jordan Cabialis, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
And with the history between these two squads, it certainly helps to have one of the nation's best when the game is on the line.
That's right, Lauren. Iowa kicker Mike Meyer not only has one of the best legs in the Big Ten, he has one of the best in program history.
The Dubuque native currently sits 3rd on Iowa's career list for field goals made and points scored, and his 100 consecutive kicks made is the 4th longest streak in the country and 6th best all-time for anyone who is suited up for the black and gold.
Our player insider Chelsea Brown caught up with Iowa's most lethal foot.
Chelsea Brown standing alongside kicker Mike Meyer. And Mike, during the Minnesota game, I know you had that one kick that hit the pole and everything. How are you feeling after that happened?
I think I just learned from it and moved on. I know what I did wrong, so I think it's just getting back to work today and making sure that doesn't happen this week.
All right, and you were a key contributor last year in the 2012 Michigan State game. Are you feeling any pressure going into this week's game at all?
No, not really. I think I'm just, focused on, doing my job this week and definitely practicing as well as I can. But I know every Big Ten game will be close, and every Big Ten game's, a tough game. So I'll be ready if that situation comes.
And Iowa's won their last 4 homecoming games, and you guys are on a 4th straight win right now. How important is this win to you guys this weekend?
It's important, but, every week is important. So I think right now we just need to focus today on doing as well as we can.
All right, well, thank you again, and back to you guys at the desk.
Whether Saturday's contest in Kinnick is close or not, expect both defenses to be firing on all cylinders in this one. Iowa's defensive front 7 has already recorded more sacks in 5 games than they did in all of 2012. And the Spartans boast one of the nation's top defensive units.
Yeah, and the numbers back the claim up as well, Josh. State ranks 1st in the country in total defense, pass defense, and passing efficiency defense, while ranking 2nd in both rushing defense and 3rd down conversion rates.
A word of advice to Gang Green's defensive front 7, don't let Iowa run the ball to the left. The Hawks ran to the left side of the line 22 of the 39 times they lined up to run against Minnesota and piled up 105 yards on 15 attempts to the left alone in the second half.
So where's the love for the big men up front? Ross France starts now.
Thanks, guys, and welcome back to this week's edition of Ross Rants, improving your quality of life one bloviated statement at a time. This week we'll be talking about a position group that's not getting very much love in media reports around the Hawkeye football team, and that's the offensive line. Now, this offensive line, they need to get the recognition they finally deserve. Now, Mark Wiseman and the rest of the Iowa's runners, they rushed for 22 times or over 140 yards last week against Minnesota. I'm no mathematician, but I think that equates to around 6 yards per carry. And you know what? That's just a really strong running game. I was going to need anchor left tackle Brandon Scherf to keep Michigan State defensive end Shalik Calhoun at bay. Calhoun already has 2 interceptions and 2 touchdowns on the Michigan State defensive line this year. That's basically their entire offense, more or less. They keep him at bay, let Jake Rudock play his own game, find his open receivers and tight ends, let Mark Wiseman run through the holes that this offense line is going to make for him. I don't see any way Iowa can lose. Now, people forget that head coach Kirk Ferentz was an offensive line coach before coming and taking the helm in Iowa City. And that game plan is really going to come to fruition, I think, on Saturday. It's going to be a game won or lost in the trenches, and if Iowa has any chance of winning, they're going to need to dominate up front. Thanks, guys, and back to you.
And we're just about out of time on the pregame show tonight. But before we take off, here's the latest look at our producer power rankings.
Not a lot of change in the basement, with Purdue still sitting at number 12, with Minnesota, Indiana, and Illinois rounding out numbers 9 through 11.
Iowa moves up to number 8 after their big win in the Twin Cities. Penn State and Michigan State fill spots 6 and 7, with Nebraska still trying to find their way back to the top 4, sitting at number 5 respectively.
Wisconsin falls to number 4 after climbing as high as number 2 last week, with Michigan and Northwestern still sitting in our 2nd and 3rd spots. And no surprise here, Ohio State still sitting at the top at number 1.
Well, that's going to do it for us here on Pregame tonight. Be sure to tune back in this Sunday for full highlights and analysis of everything Hawks and Spartans. But for now, it's on Iowa
and beat Sparty.